another board game breakfast. Yes, I'm sure that you're not talking about board games this weekend. You're probably talking about Star Wars. Did you enjoy the movie? I did, but not everyone did, but, well, that doesn't matter. So, we did a lot of stuff last week. I wanted to talk about a couple things. First of all, our video quality on some of our videos last week was 480. And some people have asked, why have we dropped in quality? I do not know why that happened. That's something that YouTube did. We definitely uploaded them in higher quality. We're trying to figure out where the problem is. I don't know why they're not letting us upload them in higher quality. In fact, we've started recording some of our videos in 1080 now. So you should start to see that as time goes by. Also, there's some audio mix-ups at the end of some of my reviews. That is not YouTube's fault. That is my fault, and we will fix that going on in the future. Well, it is Christmas week. Merry Christmas from all of us here at the Dice Tower. It is a very interesting time of year for us. For one, we are still working on the Dice Tower Cruise, trying to set that up, but we're also preparing the Dice Tower Kickstarter. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Dice Tower Kickstarter is an annual fundraising thing that we do for the Dice Tower. And what we do is we have some cool rewards and different things that you can pledge to Dice Tower. If you think Dice Tower is free, but if you think that it's worth supporting, you can do that in the month of January. But that's coming up, and we're going to start releasing on our forums at Board Game Geek. We're going to start releasing some pictures of some of the stuff that's going to be available in that Kickstarter, so pay attention to see what's coming in the future from there. Also, I'll be doing a question and answer today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so maybe you'll stick around and come back and ask some questions and get them answered live there. Hey, that seems like all the intro stuff. It's time for the news. Fantasy Flight, now the movie's out, has announced some other stuff. There's the new TIE Fighters and X-Wings. They initially came together in a new starter set for X-Wing miniatures. Now you'll be selling them in separate packs with more cards for each. So if you want more of the new ships, especially for the new movie, you'll want to pick these up. So we have a new game coming out from Gale Force 9, Tyrants of Underdark. This is a Dungeons & Dragons game set in the Forgotten Realms of Dungeons & Dragons. It's designed by Peter Lee and Rodney Thompson. They're the same guys who worked on Lords of Waterdeep. So this is intriguing. The last several board games in the Dungeons & Dragons universe have been pretty good. So we're hoping that this one is also good, although it's interesting how the board games for Dungeons & Dragons seem to be jumping from company to company. Zev Schlesinger leaving Z-Man. Zev is a great guy, and he sold Z-Man to F2Z Entertainment a couple years ago. Z-Man is now part of those, and Zev is now leaving Z-Man, but he's still looking to be involved in the board gaming world. Where will he show up next? I don't know. It is kind of interesting that Z-Man now is a company with a name that doesn't mean as much, but life moves on. And speaking of that, Asmodee. This is the biggest news of the week, I'm sure. Asmodee, Days of Wonder, and Fantasy Flight games are now collectively known as Asmodee North America. The CEO is Christian Peterson, who was initially the CEO of Fantasy Flight games. And they're going to be doing some changes. They're going to be only selling their products to Asmodee special retailers. This is something to help out local gaming retailers. And there'll be probably some other changes, although they're going to clarify exactly what those changes are this week. I do want to talk about this more. I've gotten a lot of questions about how this affects different things, different games, and how evil Asmodee is or isn't, or what have you or not. And we'll address some of those next Board Game Breakfast. I have something different I want to talk about today. But before we do that,
well, it's been quite a year, hasn't it? We here at Whitleypedia have had a delightful time sharing it with you. I think I can say with all honesty that 2015 has been the best year ever for board gaming since the last one. Oh, such grand times we've shared together here on Board Game Breakfast. We've circled back to our roots of analyzing and overanalyzing the Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 games of all time, and learned that the number one game is friendship. We've talked about Star Wars, and we've talked about Star Trek. We even eulogized Leonard Nimoy. May he rest in peace. You bet we talked about Dungeons & Dragons, and we talked about the Dungeons & Dragons movie. We talked about board games in movies, and a lot about movies about board games. We talked about Sandwich Bags, and Discworld, and Pride and Prejudice. Remember that two-parter about Game of Thrones? Oh, the days. We had a nice three-parter on Settlers of Catan, and an oh-so-timely episode about the Kentucky Derby. Together we took Whitleypedia on the road to the glory of origins, and the origins of glory in board gaming when we went across the Atlantic to jolly old England to see games and game pieces from the ancient past. We were also lucky enough to take a trip to the secret cabal. We talked about pirates and Reddit and sandwich bags and the political correctness of zombie games. We took a rich, storied journey through game theory, making a deep dive into the gamer, narrativist, simulationist, or GNS theory of gaming. On that journey, we found ourselves. But we found more. A lot more. We found each other. Oh, and we're just getting started here at Whitleypedia. 2016 will be an amazing year where we'll probably go to the moon and teach a dog how to play Monopoly. And I promise you, the dark, gritty reboot of Whitleypedia that everyone's demanding.
Now I'm a fan of the six-sided die. It's the die that's used the most in gaming. But today we're going to take a look at a 12-sided die, but it's called a double six-sided die. Now these come from a company that essentially takes a six-sided die and puts it on a 12-sided die twice. So, for example, I can grab two of these dice and I can roll and get a 5. Or I can roll here and I get a 9. Here I can roll, and I get an 11. You're going to get the same results that you get on six-sided dice, except a couple things. One, 12-sided dice are way more fun to roll than six-sided. They roll really well. It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about someone just setting them down because even just a little bit, they will roll, as opposed to six-sided dice, which might only roll a couple times, especially the ones with the sharp edges. These roll really well. And because they have the dots on, they're easy to tell. Now, because you can see the 5 sides that surround the top side, that might be confusing for some people, but I think these look really good. These are some pretty quality dice. I would love, honestly, I'd love to see custom Dice Tower dice like these with the Dice Tower logo on them, because that's how much I like these. I think these are great. This is not the only product that this company makes. They also make some 4-sided dice here. This one is a 4-sided die, which just shows 1, 2, 3, 4. Although this one looks like the Triforce from from Zelda and Link. You also have fudge dice and just different symbol dice here that can also be used for 1, 2, 3s, and 4s. These are okay. These are neat and cool. But honestly, I like this product the best. So if you're interested in these, I think these are really cool. They're called double six dice. I got them in this bag here. These are dice that I will definitely be sticking in many of my games, because I just really like the idea of them, and I think they roll better than D6s, and they essentially are.
Hello, and welcome to Board Games and Bow Ties. My name is Mike, and this is another segment in my series on Gateway Gaming. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, played lots of games with your friends and family, and have tons of memories from those games, because that's what we're going to talk about this week. Scott Nicholson, in an old Board Game Breakfast, talked about the definition of a good gaming experience being one in which even after the game, you talked about what was happening in the game. This means that in some ways, it wasn't just a game, but that you were immersed into the actions and characters of what was happening on your table. So as I introduce new people to new games, I often try to store pivotal moments in the game into my brain, so that as we pack up, we can relive that epic battle or that time the underdog came from behind with those lucky dice rolls and won the game. These moments become stored memories and help our friends realize and remind them how awesome our hobby really is. I still remember teaching my brother and my wife how to play Survive. I was going easy on them at first and letting them figure out the rules and get the hang of the game, but before I knew it, they had sharks and sea monsters eating every meeple in sight. They almost tied for first, while I ended the game with none of my meeples making it to shore. And we still talk about that game. So I encourage you to relive those moments, even the ones in which that friend in his first time ever playing Race for the Galaxy somehow decoded all the symbology and beat you by like 20 victory points. When it boils down to it, those are the things that make games so great. And those are the things that will also turn your friends from gateway gamers into full-blown board game geeks. My name is Mike, and this has been Board Games and Bowties. We'll see you next time.
So here's one thing that I really like is when companies include extra pieces. Now, they need to tell you that they've included extra pieces. It can be kind of frustrating when you're like, what is this used for? But I'm talking like simple things like the ticket to rides. Always provide a few extra trains of each color. You might lose a train of a color, and having extra pieces is nice. You know, the one game that everyone gives all that love to, Star Wars Queen's Gambit, which is super expensive and hard to find, came with extra of almost all the pieces. That was pretty cool. And this is a little bit more of an expense for the company, and I don't think companies have to do this, but it is nice when they do, when you're like, oh, look, I needed 50 of these cubes and they gave me 55. Just in case you lose one, you still got some pieces. I like that.
Welcome to the 101. Happy holidays. It's almost Christmas and New Year's and an end of another great year. I'd like to thank everybody for supporting my segment and supporting my channel. It's meant the world to me, all the wonderful letters that I've gotten and all the support I've gotten. And also all the wonderful pictures. You guys have given me an incredible gift by sharing your pictures with me. And so, with the rest of the audience, I'd like to give you guys a gift of showing all the wonderful work that people have done because they have watched Painting 101. So, let's take a look. I hope you guys enjoy that. It has meant the world to me. So much to get all your wonderful work and how beautifully you've colored your own worlds and how beautifully that you've taken and just expressed yourself in your miniatures. For me, I wish you all the happiest of holidays and the best for all your families. To see an extended version of everybody's picture that I couldn't fit in, go to my channel, Robert Orn, on YouTube, and you can see an extended version of this video. Hope you all have a wonderful and safe holiday.
Several things I'm excited about this week. Of course, we have our reviews. I'll be doing some reviews of Aya, which is like a game that's dominoes, or domino rally, essentially. The newest Ascension set, Roombound 3rd Edition. I'll also be taking a look at CV, Flock, Trexo, Wonky, bottom of the 9th. Guess what? The big box version of El Grande. So those are things I'm excited about. But I'm also excited because tomorrow we'll be taking a look back at the year. Last week we did our top 10 games of 2015. Here we take a look at kind of everything else. And then throughout the week, I'll be posting more retrospective videos on 2015 as a whole, so I can highlight some stuff that might have missed out in some of the other videos. So that's basically coming from us. You'll hear the first half this week of our best of 2015 with all tons of contributors from the Dice Tower Network on our audio podcast. If you've never listened to that, you should. It's at dicetower.com, along with a great host of other great podcasts. All right, let's move on.
Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise here, continuing our look back on 2015 with a list of my favorite games of the year. But before we get to the top 3, let's check out some of the runner-ups with some honorable mentions. Best Surprise of 2015? Dead Man's Draw. Dead Man's Draw is a simple push-your-luck card game consisting of a deck containing 10 different suits of cards, each with a special ability. On their turn, a player reveals the top card of the deck, triggering its special ability. They then continue doing this on their turn as many times as they like until they either decide to stop or bust by flipping over another card of a previously revealed suit. The player will then bank the cards that they revealed on their turn, as long as they didn't bust. Now, while many board games have been ported to apps, Dead Man's Draw is the rare instance of a game that made the jump from an app to physical game. So, it's not only for its ability to make this jump, but also for being an elegant and engaging game in its own right, that Dead Man's Draw was my biggest surprise of 2015. Most hilarious gameplay experience of 2015? Win-Lose Revolution. Win-Lose Revolution is a variation of the game Win-Lose Banana, a dirt-simple bluffing game. Each player is dealt a card, and one of the cards is titled Rebel. And one player then tries to guess which player has it. If the player with the Rebel card gets picked, that player wins. Otherwise, the other players win. And that's it. It takes 20 seconds to play this game. But the real game happens when running gags and callbacks to jokes from previous games start developing. That's what caused the trio that I played with to repeatedly just erupt in laughter while playing Win-Lose Revolution. Now, I'm not sure how much replayability this game has, but it was a great one to play while waiting for your order to arrive at a sandwich shop. Biggest flair game of 2015? Super Motherlode. Super Motherlode is a unique game that combines deck building with my favorite classic arcade game, Dig Dug. Now, thanks to this, its quirky art and brisk pace, I played it a lot after discovering it earlier this year. It burned really brightly like a flare, but then abruptly stopped hitting the table. Now, I'm still interested in Super Motherlode, so this is one that I would love to see an expansion for in hopes that it would reignite some excitement for this neat hybrid, which I think it deserves. Now join me next time when I'll cover my 3 favorite games of the year. And see you then.
Hey everybody, I was all set to talk about Asmodee this week, but I decided to save that for next week for a couple reasons. One, because it is, I want to learn more information, but also this is Christmas week. And this has been a really great year for the Dice Tower. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the great things from the Dice Tower. I want to say thank you to the Dice Tower News team, the audio podcast, first of all. Paul Owen, Elliot Miller, and Roger Hicks do a great job. If you're not listening to that, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they put out a little segment where it's a short podcast that just talks about the news going on all the time. This year we had a fantastic Dice Tower Con, and that's a huge thanks to Patrick and Lori Haver and their staff. They put together an amazing convention experience, and it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of people involved in the Dice Tower, and I'm not going to mention every single one of them, but there are some I wanted to point out things. Because there's all sorts of things. There's someone who takes the Dice Tower stuff and puts it on the Dice Tower audio and puts it up on that Dice Tower audio podcast. There's a lot of people who work with Robert Searing on the Dice Tower News website, and we got people who run our Twitter feed and different things like that. There's a lot of people helping. I'm thankful to all of them. Especially want to thank Ite Perez. He does the show notes for us, or one of the people does the show notes, but he also was incredibly helpful setting us up with booths and stuff at Essen. And well, Dan King is no longer with the Dice Tower. He has his own channel now, but he did a great job doing so many reviews for us. Ryan Metzer, we have a whole host of reviewers on the channel who do a great job. I mentioned Robert Searing in charge of Dice Tower News, but not only that, Rob keeps this website going. He's always posting the videos to the website, making sure everything goes, any problems, he's on top of it. Rob is a very valuable member of our team, and I'm very thankful for him. This show, Board Game Breakfast, you'll notice we have contributors come in and out. We have a lot of new segments and old segments, and I never want people to feel like they have to stay, but there are some people who consistently do a segment week after week. Chaz Marler and Jared and Suzanne and Nick and the guys from Snakes and Lattes, and there's other ones that are moving up to giving me stuff every week, like Rob with the new painting segment. And these guys, they don't get anything fantastic or almost anything out of doing these segments for Board Game Breakfast, but they do a fantastic job and bring their A game to where I think this show is amazing because of them. Eric Matthews did the enhanced episodes for the Dice Tower, and so I've always been thankful for that. We're moving away from that now, but he was very helpful in putting that together. Then I got the guys from the Dice Tower. All right, Eric Summerer, who's, if you've never heard our audio podcast, you really should give it a listen. It's a fun show to do, and Eric is a great co-host. You know, I still remember when he first came on the show. He was a voiceover guy who offered to do some free voiceover work for us, and we had him do some of it. We put it together, and it was just, he just became such a great personality in the show, has very unique perspectives, and he's really, really elevated Dice Tower podcast above and beyond anything that I could ever do, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm also thankful for Sam Healy. He was one of my co-hosts for the audio podcast. Now he's on this channel doing videos and the battling brushes with Rob and being a counterpoint in our top 10s, doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you don't see. And I met Sam way back in college, which seems forever ago. I guess it was 20 years. That's not too close, but we've just known each other for a long time, have a lot of the same interests, worked together in many different regards, and are still working together on the Dice Tower. I'm thankful for Z Garcia. I met him when I first moved here to the Miami area playing board games. He had such a great attitude, and slowly but surely I just came across as a personality that I wanted to be involved, and has done a phenomenal job at reviewing and just really helping keeping the Dice Tower going. And this year, having Sam and Z working with me at Dice Tower has really changed things around. Jason, who everyone loves to hate or hates to love or loves to love, but Jason has such a great heart and is willing to do all sorts of fantastic things for this show, and I really appreciate him. And I really appreciate our gaming group. We have a lot of people who play a lot of bad games because I'm putting them out in front of them. And, but they also get to play some good games too. Guys, the Dice Tower, I'm really working hard at making the Dice Tower not become a one-man show. You're going to see a lot of me because I'm going to work hard till I die. All right, I'm going to just keep pumping out as much content as I can, but I want the Dice Tower to be more than just about my opinions, to have as many different opinions as possible, and I hope that you will see more of that as we move into 2016. In my house, I am but one opinion. I am the fortunate father of Melody, Amy, Holly, Claire, Violet, Ruby, and Jimmy Vasel, and of course Jack Vasel from Jack Vasel Memorial Fund. And so I'm thankful for having them and my wife in my life. They make life fun. They make my life worthwhile. Gaming is not the ends to that. And so from my family to you, we like to wish you a Merry Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your king. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Now bring us a sticky pudding, Oh, sorry. Okay, hey! Merry Christmas from the Vasels! See you next year! Oh, I guess still more this year.
Hi friends, welcome back. Souls Brettspiele durchgespielt. My name is Niels, the best and the worst mechanism, and today we're talking about X and Empires. The best mechanism in X and Empires for me is definitely that everybody has exactly the same 10 cards numbered from 1 to 10. However, each single round you only have 3 cards on your hand. To claim the most valuable X, 13 victory points is really good, you wanted to play a high card. At the same time, everybody is revealing his card, and in this turn it's very easy. Number 1 could pick the highest card, then number 8. However, all these numbers have different abilities, and that spices up the game. So there could be a card in it which allows me, if the blacksmith is in, to pick before the blacksmith. The other card, Dark Priestess, means if 2 Dark Priestesses are in the game, not even a single one picks X, and things like that. And my worst point for this game is definitely there's almost no theme in the whole game. There's a very similar game, it's called Libertalia, on the market. However, this Libertalia takes between 1 hour and 1.5 hours of playing time. This is only 15 minutes for a round, and that lets me say this is my favorite pick from both. And again, it's time for you to send me in comments, emails, blah blah blah, all that stuff for your favorite mechanism or your worst mechanism for X and Empires. Eagle Griffin Games. My name is Niels. See you next time. Cyril's Brettspiele. Bye bye.
Hey everyone, my name is Lee McDowell, and let's take a look at my game room. Okay, let's take a look at the game room. All my shelves are IKEA Kallax. As you can see here, I've got some games on this one with some space left. Some Star Wars X-Wing miniature game there. I've got these nice, cool little treasure chests. I'll show you what's in the top one. It's just some different types of dice and a coaster. Go Gamecocks. In the second one, I've just got some card games that our family really enjoys to play. Got some more shelves over here, some long, really tall ones with some drawers that have some more card games in them. Pandemic Legacy, Imperial Assault, all the way over to Shadows over Camelot, New York 1901, and Spectre Ops. I also have on top here, I have some painted miniatures. That is Mice and Mystics. Then we've got some Spectre Ops, Robo Rally, Star Wars Imperial Assault, Flashpoint Fire Rescue, what a wonderful, great game, and Shadows over Camelot. On top of the shelves, I have some more games. I have the Bookshelf series, Witness, great little 4-player game, 4-player only game, very unique. Also in the game room, we've got a TV with some Bose speakers and a Apple TV and Roku. We use that mostly for background music, etc. Over here we got some board game art. Took some of these pictures, found some of these pictures free online. Also got this little weird little chibi stand that my children made out of polystyrene and painted it and textured it. Looks really great. Over here on the wall we've got a scenery piece that I made for Colt Express. Just made out of foam core and polystyrene, and then just use different things to build that as well. So thanks for taking a look at my game room with me. My name is Lee McDowell, and let's continue on with the show.
Hi, Suzanne here, and with 2015 coming to a close, that means it's time to take a look back at the year in board game apps. To be honest, it was a little bit of a ho-hum year in app gaming to me, but that doesn't mean that there weren't some standouts that deserve recognition. First, I have 2 quick honorable mentions. The first is Dominant Species. Although it's not a 2015 release, it was the 2015 overhaul that made the app fun and playable and pretty darn great. And the second honorable mention is Earthcore Shattered Elements. I actually haven't covered this on its own yet, partly because there's so much to it, but it is a digital CCG with all the bells and whistles that's definitely worth a look. My number 5 app of the year is Picomino. I know you're thinking, really? But yeah, really. This is a solid implementation of a quick and light push your luck game, and it's surprisingly feature rich. I would welcome more lightweight game applications like this. Infection Humanity's Last Gasp is my number 4 app of the year. Solo play games actually make really great apps, and I wish more would come over into digital form. Infection did a great job of porting the board game over in a slick package that was smartly designed for the digital experience, and so it makes a great solo play app game. My number 3 app of the year is Card Crawl. I loved this game when it first came out, but it's since gotten even better thanks to some massive content updates. The gameplay is quick and simple, but really compelling, with fun art and some depth thanks to a variety of the special ability cards. Like last year, it was a tough choice between the number 1 and 2 apps of the year for me, but ultimately, Splendor is my number 2 app of the year. This is a near perfect port of the popular board game, but maybe even a little bit better because of the added challenge mode, which makes it a really fun solo play game. Days of Wonder continues to add more new challenges, and I know that they're working on the online version as well, but even without online play, Splendor is still a great board game app. My number 1 app for 2015 is Le Havre Inland Port. Now, I may be a little bit biased because I love Uwe Rosenberg games, but Newcomers Digitize made quite the splash with this app. It has nearly all the features I'm looking for in a board game app, and I just love playing it on my device. So if you're a Eurogame fan at all, I definitely recommend you try Le Havre Inland Port. And hey, it's available on iOS and Android. There you have it, my top 5 apps of 2015. Looking forward to 2016. I know that there are some great game releases planned for us, so charge those batteries and clear some hard drive space. Cheers.
All right, Steve, let's give this a go.
Hear the games. So many games. Play
Steve.
all the games.
Steve, you're not Christopher Walken, Steve. All right, Steve, I'm going to give you one more try. I'll give you a shorter intro, all right?
Hark, hear the games. So many games. Play all the games. Here are some names.
Steve.
Play Carcassonne, Sweet Game of Thrones, Anomia, Suburbia, Nowhere to Go, Pylos, Quarto, Coloretto, Now, Pentago, Jenga, Taboo, Quizniak, 2, Play Battle Ball, then some Spyfall, Puerto Rico, Takanoko, and Tokaido. Don't forget Go, Arkham, Horror, Eldritch, Horror, More of Horror, so much horror.
Steve, I just can't...
Tell it.
I can't keep up with you.
Telestrations. Tell it. Telestrations. Play
All right, you
Firefly.
keep going.
Ticket to Ride. Fun, cash, and guns. And Domin. Jan. Spiel. Des. Jahr. Es.
And that's it for today, folks. So that's another Board Game Breakfast. I hope to see you for the Q&A time. I hope that you watch our stuff this week. And if you don't watch it this week, go have a great Christmas and come back and watch it next week. Hey, the year is almost over, but it's been a good one, huh? I think so. Anyway, until next time. Oh, no, not until next time. One more thing. I'd like to give a thanks to Nicholas and Nicole Rossel, who want to thank the Dice Tower for introducing them and their group, Patrick, Caitlin, Susie, Laura, and many others, to the world of board gaming. Hey guys, thanks so much for supporting us via Kickstarter. We appreciate that. Now we can end the show. And so, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at CoolStuffInc.com.